Piece was not merely a childhood memory, it was my childhood. I rejected the ninjas and Hokages. Those are Naruto, right? And oh, got me feeling, tell me why. For some epic pirate adventures to define a snotty 6-year-old's whole personality. Now that was probably because One Piece was the only one to look family friendly enough to be allowed in my Asian household. So this is awkward. One Piece Movie 6. Baron Omatsuri and the Secret Island is a non-canon 2005 One Piece movie, and the bane of my childhood fears. I distinctly remember watching the final scene of this movie, both relieved and scared absolutely shitless. So of course, I had to rewatch it. I have no idea if this movie is well known to the Western audience. On one hand, it's a 2005 One Piece spin-off movie. On the other hand, it's the movie that the renowned director Mamoru Hosoda, known for Wolf Children, the Digimon movie again, the Digimon movie again, and its trademark visual style definitely shines through this movie too. The color is much more simplistic, a lot less vibrant. It's safe to say this movie isn't aiming for the high energy adventure feel. The character art is way less defined, even distorted in some way, which in turn allows for much more dynamic animation. But also there's a lot more static shots for reasons I don't really get. I mean, it's not as well shot and directed like Monogatari and Tatami Galaxy. Plus the dialogue is way less convoluted, so it just feels kind of cheap. I much prefer when the movie is actually moving. The beginning parts of this movie isn't actually that disturbing, besides the oh god, the flower, oh god, oh no. It's about the Straw Hat Pirates arriving at a strange resort, where the Omatsuri Baron asks them to participate in the ordeal of hell. That's a name. A name that contrasts pretty well with the actual challenges, or with childish concepts. In fact, this was so on the nose, I was 200% sure this was gonna be like a Squid Game situation, but no. It's just a bunch of pretty normal, granted very unfair children's games. But because the Straw Hats are so overpowered, they managed to win anyways. Lamar, because of the realization that they're not gonna predict the popular Netflix show like 15 years in the future, and just being surprised at how lighthearted it is in a lot of respects, I actually started to wonder if I was just misremembering. I mean, come on, Luffy gets bonked. Well, I guess as we entered into the second challenge, something was off. But let me give some context. For the longest time, One Piece movies weren't looked upon with the best eye, even now with Stampede being Stampede. Oh, that Shanks movie is good. These movies weren't bad, but since it's non-canon, the movie instead just resorts to flanderizing the characters and making the plot the most generic it can be. I can say that because I watched pretty much every single one of them as a kid, even this 3D one, which blew my 7-year-old mind. It has gotten better with films like Z and that other one with the flying, which are actually somewhat relevant to the main story, but some people complain about that because, you know, put the actual lore into the main story and not this fucking movie. Usually, yeah, no interesting ideas here. You guys remember One Piece Noroware Taseiken? Movie 6, however, tackles a pretty unique perspective on One Piece's characters. No canon relations needed. Baron's whole goal in this movie is to provoke the cast in a way to make them actually genuinely get mad at each other because they're too stuck in their own hubris. This feels natural since yes, Sanji and Zoro have always hated each other, Usopp's cowardice always annoyed people, but taking that to a more realistic angle, and you got an interesting situation. You could call it of One Piece's core themes. The theme is Nakama. But when the cast is going through the second challenge, Chopper and Robin, best girl, also started uncovering the truth behind this island. First of all, this giant tube thing. Oh no, the tube! Oh no, By the way, the 3D in this movie is really bad, but I was still scared as a dumb kid. And second, we discovered that Baron used to be the captain of a pirate crew, and everyone on this island seems to be on that crew. But he's the only one who looks younger in that bouncy image. Okay, so I don't know how obvious it was to you guys who watched this as a grown weeb, but I didn't piece this out as a child until way later when the corpses started collapsing. That's right, using the power of the tube, Baron was secretly reviving the corpses of his crewmates who died in an accident because he just can't handle being alone. It's all revealed in the best directed scene in the whole movie, in my opinion, with the candles flickering, the animation becoming more and more frantic, and the final shot. God damn! But it's actually really sad thinking about how Baron has been living all these years, constantly convincing the revived corpses and himself that everything's normal, because the corpses presumably rot after a while, and if they realize they're corpses, they also rot. Honestly, this thought is a lot more terrifying than the horrific imagery this movie was about to throw. Speaking of... So after the second challenge and this fucking awesome cook-off, members have gone missing and the remaining crew has no morale and togetherness at all. That's when Baron reveals the final challenge. I'm so sorry. Time for the tube, time for the tube! This part really got me as a kid, even though now I know they're not actually dead because, oh, look at these episodes. Back then, seeing the crew defeated and being led to Lily Carnation and hearing Luffy's desperate screams, Fortunately though, Luffy has the help of the side characters introduced in this arc, also victims of Baron's vicious desire to destroy any loyal crew. After this little girl tells him she can still hear his crewmates calling out to him, Luffy's rejuvenated and goes out and fucking punches the Baron! Hell yeah! Wait, what? Huh? What do you mean? What the fuck? This is kind of scary, even to me now. So seeing how this innocent flower transforms into this hellish thing, I do not blame my kid self at all. And Luffy gets shot by this amount of arrows. How are you still alive? But then in a really nice mini character arc, the side character, the leader of a family pirate crew, finally has the courage to help out Luffy. This whole movie, as the crew is becoming more and more distant, Luffy doesn't know how to deal with it, really. Because this has never happened to the Straw Hats ever. Luffy values his crewmates more than anything else, and is very good at sweeping them into his carefree attitude. But he doesn't know how to solve interpersonal relationships, leaving him at a checkmate in front of Baron. However, it is his compassion towards his team, and his kindness towards everyone around him, that ultimately motivated the Digger and the family pirate crew to side with him, and help him achieve his goals. It's not a genius, subversive twist, but it's nonetheless one that feels like One Piece. And that was Bado Matsuri and the Secret Island. Going back, I had a jolly old time indulging in my nostalgia, but I also realized how this movie isn't really that good. The original characters are kinda bland, the story is really bare bones, and I'm giving a really charitable look to the themes. But it still goes out of its way to comment on One Piece's themes more than most spin-off movies, so that's something. I don't really consider this video a review. As much as my retrospective, it's my childhood memories. I still recommend watching the movie for yourself if you want to see Hosoda's roots, or to see a decently entertaining movie I can't believe was marketed to a children audience, you sick fucking bastard!